There's a weight in the air when venture partners walk into a room, whether that room is a boardroom, a conference, or a quiet corner where deals quietly shift the future. Sometimes it feels like the world expects nothing more than a nod and a signature. But deep down, you know it's more than that. You carry something enormous. Still, have you ever felt invisible despite all the control, the connections, the capital? Like you're the one holding the key, but even you can't see the lock it fits? You're not alone. The toughest challenge isn't just finding the right deal or the next unicorn. It's being the person who truly influences what's actually happening. The person who isn't just in the room, but makes the room. But why does it feel like that's so rare? So damn hard? Because the world is noisy. Systems drown out the signal. Rules chain the flame. Society teaches safety, not sovereignty. Comfort, not courage. The truth is, most people settle. They play roles. They follow scripts written long before they arrived, and in that fog of routine and expectation, the most powerful voices get lost. But venture partners, the real ones, the few who refuse to blend in, they stand at a unique crossroads. They're not just investors. They're architects of futures, sculptors of innovation, the spark plugs who power change. Yet, if being influential was that simple, everyone here watching would feel it every day. The problem is, the power to be the most influential isn't given. It's forged. And it demands more than money or position. It demands alignment. Every day, there's a silent battle raging inside you. The pressure to deliver on startups, on LPs, on your own legacy. The temptation to conform to what venture looks like on paper, because it's safer, because it's easier. But deep down, there's discomfort you can't ignore. You know that real influence demands something else. It demands breaking away from the noise, from the comfort of consensus. The true game starts when you stop trying to fit the mold and start smashing it. The people who end up the most influential in the room, they're not the loudest or the richest or the most connected by surface measures. They're the ones who have quietly ripped apart the rulebook and written their own. Their influence grows not because they demand it, but because they embody a force impossible to ignore. Here's the brutal truth that too few admit. Influence is not about being seen, it's about being unavoidable. The most influential venture partners don't just participate in conversations, they steer them, shift them, make others recalibrate what they thought was possible. But this doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you learn to wield what's truly yours. Your vision, your critical mind, your ability to connect what others cannot see, and most importantly, your capacity to be selectively aligned. That means saying no relentlessly. It means surrounding yourself with only those who challenge, inspire, and push your boundaries. Not the many, the few, the rare. And in that selective pressure cooker, your influence crystallizes into something primal and pure. Power born of clarity and uncompromising intent. Building that influence also means embracing patience, a kind of patience that's violent in its quietness. It's the long game, the game where fads fade but conviction endures. The world loves instant results and flashy moves, but the deepest influence arises from slow, deliberate transformation. It's about seeing past the immediate noise to what truly matters, cultivating relationships, trust, and insights that last beyond the headlines. This isn't just advice, it's a survival skill. Because every day, agendas try to hijack your attention, distract you with shiny pitches and empty promises. The real power lies in ruthlessly protecting your focus. Influential venture partners don't chase everything. They define their own horizon and only move towards what aligns with that vision, no matter how long the path. But influence also demands vulnerability, a willingness to show cracks where others only show armor. It's scary. It feels risky. Yet paradoxically, this authenticity is what breaks the ice, melts the resistance, and builds the bridges that influence runs on. People feel it when you're genuine. They sense it when you're not playing a part. That's the invisible currency no amount of money can buy. So if you want to be the most influential in the room, start by dropping the pretense. Risk being misunderstood. Risk being isolated. Because true influence always comes with a cost. But that cost is cheap compared to the price of silence, invisibility, and wasted potential. So how do you take all this, the pressure, the restlessness, the constant grind, and turn it into unstoppable influence? It starts with clarity. Clarity about who you are beyond the titles, the money, the deals. Clarity about what is non-negotiable in your vision of the future. Then comes connection. Not superficial networking, but deep, intentional relationships that complement your strengths and fill your gaps. Connect with the rare few who burn as fiercely as you do, not the many who merely settle for belonging. Influence is a symphony, not noise. You need allies, collaborators, even challengers to stretch your thinking and amplify your power. Alone, you're a spark. Together, you're a blaze. And here's something most won't tell you. The system is not your friend. It rewards complacency, rewards the middling, shrinks the rare. It wants you neat, silent, and small, but your influence demands breaking that system, not quietly reforming it, but transcending it. You have to become untethered from the illusions of freedom they sell you. You must refuse to live a borrowed life, reject the safe paths everyone else walks. The most influential venture partners don't seek permission. They craft their own reality, redefine the rules, and build infrastructure where none existed before. This means radical courage, the kind that burns through fear and logs a permanent mark on the future. Imagine a reality where your influence isn't limited by geography, by politics, by outdated expectations. Imagine being part of a network so fierce, so aligned, so boldly individual that the word impossible stops making sense. This network is not a fantasy, it's the next horizon, a place built for those rare few who refuse to be ordinary, where misaligned brilliance finds its match, where difference is the foundation for strength, not division, where influence isn't a zero-sum game, but a multiplying force. When you anchor yourself in that kind of collective fire, you don't just become influential, you become indispensable. Now think about this. The missing piece for so many venture partners isn't information, it's permission. Permission to be sovereign in a world that demands conformity. Permission to question everything relentlessly, to dissolve old boundaries, to navigate uncertainty with relentless curiosity. This is not chaos, it is creative transformation. The most influential venture partners are not the ones who play it safe. They are the ones who break free and invite others to follow, not with preaching, but by embodying their power. This is why waiting is the enemy. Because every day you delay, the system's illusions grow stronger, your fire dims, and your influence wanes. But here's the secret weapon that cuts through all this struggle: your will. Your will is your power. It's the difference between those who watch the future happen and those who make the future happen. With a clear will, patience, and selective alliances, influence becomes less of a gamble and more of a sure path. This is the liberation every venture partner craves, not just freedom from old rules, but freedom to create new ones. It's not about fixing the broken system, it's about stepping beyond it, becoming the force that the system forgot to account for. So the next time you step into a room, feel the weight of so many expectations trying to pin you down, remember this: the most influential person is not the one with the loudest voice, the biggest wallet, or the slickest pitch. It's the one who dares to be sovereign, who fires up their will like a weapon, who patiently builds connections with the rare, who doesn't settle for comfort or consensus. The one who makes the room stop and listen, not because they demand it, but because their presence changes everything. Because influence is not just about power, it's about unleashing what has always been inside you. It's about taking that quiet, unbearable tension you've carried for so long, the feeling that you were made for more, and turning it into the light that guides others out of the shadows. It's about being the disruption, the difference, the spark of truth in a world that desperately needs it. This is your calling, not to be a passenger in venture, but to be the engine that drives what comes next. Not to settle for being seen, but to be impossible to ignore. The room is waiting. The fire is in you. Now is the time to claim it.